It's the Alexandra and Friends podcast, and we're covering the everyday issues of life, health, and wealth. And as always, we have a great panel of experts with us. Here is your host, Alexandra Fincher.
Welcome to Alexandra and Friends 660 The Answer. Thank you so much for spending another Saturday night with us at this amazing show. Please let us know if there's any issues or if you have... Yeah. Well, let me tell you a little bit. I'm Alexandra Fincher. I am a realtor and a consultant, and I'm here every Saturday night bringing stories for you and opening a lot of hearts and hopefully a lot of journey. Talk about our guest this evening because It's exciting, and not only is exciting, but it also benefits many people because she's going to tell us all about how her organization that she does the event that she does every winter or every December benefits Ronald McDonald Home. So good evening. How are you, Miss Kathleen? Right?
Kathleen, yeah.
Kathleen?
Well,
Okay.
Kathleen what?
Kathleen Mcgill.
Kathleen Mcgill.
Yes.
Sounds like an Irish young lady, huh?
Oh, very. Yep.
Where are you from, Kathleen?
I'm from a small town called Lexington, Texas. It's very, very small.
Where's that at?
It's about an hour east of Austin.
Oh,
But
okay.
no one's ever heard of it because it doesn't even have a stoplight. It's pretty tiny. So, yeah.
Does it have a blinking yellow light at least?
It does.
Oh, okay.
And in the past 5 years or so, they put the school zone lights over the highway instead of just one sign that blinks on the road.
Wow. So they do have a light now.
Well, it's still not a stoplight, but
it's just a
there.
blinking light.
It's
Hey, there
more
could be
technology than they're
people
used
here.
to.
Yeah.
Well, tell us a little bit about you and what do you live in the Dallas area? Tell us what you do and
I do, yes. I've lived in Dallas for, oh my gosh, maybe 5 years now. 5 years, I guess. Let's just go with that. And I moved up here. I went to A&M, and I'm the special events manager for the Ronald McDonald House, and I've done events my whole career. So I moved up here for a job at a hotel and then kind of bounced around a little bit. I've worked for the city of Dallas doing some events as well. And then I've been with the Ronald McDonald House for 3 years. But this is my fourth trains because I started in August. So, yeah.
So you started with the train thing first?
So, yeah, nothing like sink or swim. But when I started, it was August 13th, and I had a stack of rail car orders, which I will explain in a little bit. That was probably, 50 deep,
Yeah.
sitting on my desk. And they hadn't had anyone in the role for a while, I don't think. And so it was kind of like a steep learning curve.
Yeah.
Real steep.
Just threw you in there, right?
Yep. It was very, it's very involved. It's a full team effort. It's a huge event. It raises over a third of our budget.
Wow.
So it's big. And I was explaining a little bit before, but I'm kind of the boots on the ground for the event. It's a full team effort, and it's our chief development officer does a lot of the front end contracts and sponsorships, which are huge. She does all that kind of stuff, but I do mostly the management of the exhibit itself. So starting in August was figure it out really fast.
Well, then go ahead and
situation.
tell us about this exhibit. Tell us about the train thing first, I guess.
Yeah, so the trains at NorthPark is, so it changes locations often, but it's usually in the NorthPark. It's always in the NorthPark Mall, and it's usually in the second level. And what it is a Christmas exhibit or holiday exhibit that runs from the 2 weekends before Thanksgiving until the first weekend in January. And it's basically a toy train museum, I guess you could say. Yeah. I usually describe it as when Kevin McAllister in the second Home Alone walks into that toy store in New York City. And he walks around and he's like, oh, that's kind of the same effect that the trains has.
So
because when you walk in,
take the kids there.
Oh my gosh, yes. When you walk in, it'll be Christmas music everywhere, and there's over 1,600 foot of track where tiny rail cars, like actual trains, are moving through small replicas of different cities in the United States. So the train tables will have starts with San Francisco, and then it goes through Dallas, and there's New York City, and there's New Mexico, and the trains are running through those towns.
And is there a charge to get in to look at all this?
There is. The tickets help us raise money for the Ronald McDonald House. So it's $10 for adults, $5 for kids, and $5 for seniors.
Okay. Not
and
too bad.
we do raise quite a bit of money. We're very fortunate that it's super successful, and all the money goes back to the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Now, when you're saying Ronald McDonald of Dallas, is that for the whole Dallas area, for all the Ronald McDonalds?
Yeah. So let me explain Ronald McDonald House a little bit. So the Ronald McDonald House anywhere, any house anywhere, has the same mission. They exist to house people who have traveled to that city to receive medical care for a child, any medical care. So it can be a broken arm, it can be surgery, it can be cancer, it can be anything.
Wow.
I actually did not know that.
Yeah.
That's specific.
And the house here in Dallas, each house is separate from each other. So we're all the same branding and we're all the same mission, but we all have our own 501c3 accreditations. We all have our own fundraising, our own board of directors. And so the house here in Dallas, there's only one house here in Dallas, and we have programs throughout the Dallas area, but the one house is near Parkland, and we have 88 rooms, so we can serve 88 families at a time. It's kind of a cross between a sorority home and a hunting lodge and a hotel.
Well, we're going to come back. We have so much to talk about this because I want to hear more about Ronald McDonald and just getting started. So you're listening to Alexandra and Friends 660, The Answer. Please like us on Facebook. It's Alexandra and Friends 660, or go to our website, alexandraandfriends.com, or sign up for our podcast. They're all awesome from all our guests that we've had through the year. If you want to advertise with Alexandra and Friends, please give me a call at 972-342-2932. We'd love to have you be our sponsor.
I'm Billy Tatum with Alexandra and Friends, brought to you by Miller Title, Roberto Perez. And today we're here with Kathleen from the Ronald McDonald House and the NorthPark model train or toy train exhibit. And she is the, what is your position?
Special events manager.
Special events manager. That's right. Okay. So tell us a little more about Ronald McDonald House, and then let's talk about these trains. I love trains, so I can't wait to talk about them more. Yeah.
So, before we were, kind of talking about the house a little bit. So, just to explain the mission, that we're all super passionate about. So I could talk, you'll have to stop me because I'll probably talk about the house more than you intended.
We want you to talk. This is radio.
So the Ronald McDonald House mission is that, we can't necessarily take care of the medical side of why you came to Dallas. So, we aren't a medical facility per se, but we're going to create a home away from home for you and take care of everything else so that you can focus on getting your child well. So we have 2 playrooms and a teen room. We have laundry rooms in every hallway. We provide the laundry detergent and the dryer sheets. We have a workout room. We have a chapel. We have a library. We have 2 kitchens. One is commercial that we have volunteer groups come in and prepare 3 meals a day that are free for our families. And the other one is our family kitchen where they can cook for themselves if they would like, or if they missed a meal, we put the leftovers in there. So literally everything, even when we ask them to do something, if we ask them to keep their rooms clean, we're going to provide the cleaning supplies. So we're never going to be an additional financial burden on them. And we're going to try and take care of every other aspect of their daily life so that they can focus on that medical treatment and getting that child home. So it's kind of a sad thing when our friends leave us because we get to know these families really well. But it's such a good thing because we want them to go home. They don't need to be in this giant metropolitan city that they've never been in. We provide transportation because traffic is so crazy and all that stuff. We want them to be able to go home. So we're going to take care of everything to get them there.
Kathleen, I want to ask you a question. How do the families come to stay at Ronald McDonald?
Yeah, so that's a great question. We receive referrals from the social workers at all of the local hospitals. Obviously, our biggest hospitals are the children's hospitals, so Scottish Rite and Children's, who are fantastic children's facilities. But if you've traveled to the Dallas area for any type of treatment in any hospital, you can stay with us. They get referred by the social worker, and then they go through a little bit of a process for a background check and, how long are they going to be here? And they just have to be in a treatment plan of some kind. So we'll provide transportation to the ones around the house, but we've got people who drive to Plano every day because there's a really great program in Plano for eating disorders, and it's a 3-month-long program. And so the way that I explain it is it really doesn't matter your income or what socioeconomic status you consider yourself to be in. If you have to be in Dallas for 3 months, you can't afford a hotel room. So it's just kind of how it is. And that is the biggest stressor, is finding a place to stay and where are you going to get food. And we take care of both of those things. So that's how our families come to us.
I really didn't know how Ronald McDonald House worked. I did not know all this. It's interesting.
So when we're saying Ronald McDonald, are these also part of the McDonald's restaurant?
So yes, sort of. It's a little bit hard to explain. So backing way up, the very first Ronald McDonald House was started by, I believe, a Philadelphia Eagles player. I may have gotten that wrong, but the point is still there. His daughter was in the hospital, and his daughter's doctor had this idea all along to have a place that was near the treatment for families to stay, because he and his wife were, sleeping on the couch there in her room. And he was friends with a McDonald's owner-operator who said that he would fund the building of the first Ronald McDonald House with the proceeds from the Shamrock Shake. And so thus the Ronald McDonald House was born. So McDonald's is still a fantastic contributor to us. The local DFW owner-operators are so generous to us. They have programs like Roundup for RMHC, where you can ask to round your bill up to the nearest dollar, and all of the difference gets given to the local houses. They're still super, very, very, very supportive of us.
Yeah, it says on your website, $126 million donated last year.
They are fantastic. Yes,
wow.
They're fantastic.
Wow, what an amazing. So the child, so the parent comes and stays there with the child, and they are recommended through CPS. Is CPS, are you saying?
Through the social worker at the hospital. And it doesn't even necessarily have to be the parent. We take whatever your family looks like. If that is your aunt and your mom, or if that is your grandparents, or whoever is coming to you, or whoever is coming with the patient, they can stay with us. They can stay with the patient. Sometimes the patient's inpatient, so we never see them. But sometimes they're staying at our house with us, so we see patients too.
Okay.
Well, I'm a member of the Jewish War Veterans Ladies Auxiliary, and we used to come and do a lot of cooking and bring a lot of donations for when I was president. I just left a couple of weeks ago, but that was a very funny thing, because you enjoyed so much the kiddos and enjoyed the families.
Yeah.
We also, are you still on Record Crossing in Dallas off of Harry Hines area?
We're off of Bengal Street now, so yes, Harry Hines area, but we're kind of tucked away.
We used to have a restaurant. My husband had a restaurant on Record Crossing, and we used to really do a lot of food for y'all at that place.
Awesome.
We used to bring a lot of food for donation for the families in the evening, especially for dinner.
Yeah.
So I'll go back.
How can people volunteer more?
Yeah, so you can actually, the shameless plug, that is a really good segue. Thank you, Alexandra. Yeah. Our biggest need right now, everybody has that phrase because of COVID, and we have definitely felt that. We used to have groups come in and cook at our house, which is kind of what you're mentioning. But now we are only having a certain number of groups, and the house still provides 3 meals a day to all of the people staying there. And so we've had some really generous donations, donors and groups that have catered food in. But we as a house are providing about 60% of the meals out of our pocket now, where we used to only do about 7 a month.
Yeah.
So if you have a local restaurant you want to support, and they can cater food to the Ronald McDonald House, that would be one way to give back to the house right now, because we really need that. And then we also, like you mentioned, we have volunteers at our front desk, and we have volunteers in our kitchen, and we have volunteer groups come and do projects sometimes. It's a little up in the air just with our COVID restrictions and stuff, since our patients are immune system compromised a lot. We do try to be a little bit more cautious than the average building to keep them safe and healthy.
So your job at Ronald McDonald Home, what is it? What do you do?
So my job, I'm the special events manager. So I run our young professionals group called Young Friends. So I'm biased, but I fall in that category, and they're all friends of mine now. So I love that group. And they do different events around town. They raise awareness about our mission. because similar to you guys, everybody's heard of the Ronald McDonald House, but they may not know exactly what it is that we do. So that's a big thing for us. And we do little fundraisers. We try and give back as much money to the house as we can, and we volunteer. So I do all of their events, and I run that group, but I also run the trains at NorthPark and any third-party events for people who are wanting to raise a little bit of money or cash to give back to the house. So the trains at NorthPark, since that's really what we're here for, because it's coming up.
I want to talk about it.
Yes.
But not only are we here for that, we want to make sure that people understand that Ronald McDonald House is supported by volunteers and by contributions. And that's what your main job is, to raise money for Ronald McDonald. And the trains is an amazing project.
Yes.
So
the trains raises anywhere from $500,000 to $600,000 a year for the Ronald McDonald House. And also an interesting fact is that it doesn't just benefit the house. We put it on. We are the ones who get the sponsors and find the lease space in NorthPark Mall and hire the people. And we hire the company that builds the train sets, and the whole event is put on by the Ronald McDonald House.
Tell them how people raise money through these trains for you.
Yeah. So we have some very, very generous sponsors. And so that's one form of the fundraising for this event. The next way is that the individual rail cars that get hooked together to make up the trains that are actually running around the room on the tracks, they're sold by us, and they are hand painted by artists that we hire per the purchaser's request. So I was telling you guys before we went on, there's a lot of families in Dallas who have bought a rail car every year. And so they do something on it, like Texas A&M, because they went to A&M that year, or they graduated from high school. So it'll say ESD 2020 or whatever. And so then at age 18 or whatever, the child can kind of look back at the whole train. And it's like a reflection of their life. So that's one way that we raise money, because each rail car, the proceeds come back to the house too.
Okay.
And then the third way is ticket sales, of course. So foot traffic, just getting people in the door to do that holiday fun. I know that NorthPark is kind of a holiday destination anyway. And this is just one extra thing. I think I grew up in a really small town, so I used to cut a tree down every year. But I think people in Dallas go to the trains in NorthPark, because we get lots of families that walk in there and they say, "Oh my God, we love this." We come every year, and we have been for 20 years.
As I've gotten older, I've avoided NorthPark Mall towards holiday season. So.
Well, I
got to go back.
I grew up in that NorthPark, so I've always been there every year. So how long ago did this project start, and how did it get started? So how did all this get started?
Originally, it was started by a man named Ban Bywaters, who's still involved. He still comes every year, and he owned his own train set, and so he put it on display. To be completely honest with you, I can't remember where it was the very first year. And he sold, he made money off of people coming to look at his train set, and he donated it back to a different charity. And then one of our very generous friends of the house, Sandra Estes, was friends with Ban, and she said, well, why don't we kind of make this a little bit bigger? And you can give the money back to the Ronald McDonald House. So it was in the Galleria for a while. And then it moved to NorthPark, and I'm skipping some details, but it moved to NorthPark, and it was like it was a kiosk, kind of like it was in the middle of the hallway, not a kiosk, but it was in the middle of the hallway, and it was an actual train ride. That was well over 20 years ago, and people still walk in the door and say, "Where can I ride the train?"
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore.
Oh my gosh,
we do not ride the train anymore.
They have that at one of these malls around here.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that used to be by the Neiman Marcus area, because I've been going there all my life. So now I remember that.
Yeah,
oh my
and so
gosh.
now it's evolved into what it is, and it's a storefront, same as you would walk into, Abercrombie & Fitch or Bed Bath & Beyond, Bath & Body Works or whatever. Right. We have a storefront, and you come in the room, and it's like you're greeted with what looks like an old-timey ticket booth for a train station, and you buy your tickets, and you get to roam around and look at the trains for as long as you want.
And the kids' eyes are just huge.
Yes, huge the whole time.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's sensory overload for sure. There's a lot going on in there. It's very cool.
I got to go do it. I drive by NorthPark several times a week.
You definitely need to try it.
So when do you start putting all the project together? I'm sure it takes a little bit of time to do all this.
So our chief development officer and I start planning in June. So it's Christmas all the time at the Ronald McDonald House.
That is awesome.
So we start planning in June with gathering a committee and doing our first meetings and just getting the ball rolling. And then a company named TW Trainworks, which is super well known in the United States. They're one of the largest companies that builds these train exhibits. And lots of times people have them in their homes or wherever. They come in and they build, and it takes them 5 to 6 weeks or so to build the exhibit. Wow. So by August, September, we're pretty full swinging on trains.
Man, that sounds like fun. How do you get a job building model trains for a living?
Well,
and get paid to do that.
They're all impressive. They're all like guys that grew up with trains, but they could go up against any man that has an electrical engineering degree and school them. I mean, they're just so good. They're incredible. And then after that, so NorthPark is super generous to us. They donate the space, but what they do is there's potential for someone to come into that space after us. So we move out every January, and we move back in every October. Wow. So then once the exhibit is built and TW is done, then the Ronald McDonald House comes in.
That's why it moves around the mall, because they're not kicking people out. They're just giving you whatever space is available.
The space that's available.
Okay.
Well, we're going to have a second.
Let's come back.
Let's come back because we need to take a little bit of.
And real quick on our way out, if any of you guys are interested in this train, it's the trains at NorthPark.com where you can go and get tickets or buy a rail car for. Yep.
Make sure you type in the trains at NorthPark.
It's the trains at NorthPark.com.
We also have a great website, AlexandraandFriends.com, and I want to thank Liz Castañeda for a wonderful job she's doing with our Facebook and with our website. It is amazing.
Oh, that's Liz.
Liz Castañeda. Yes. She's amazing. Have you seen?
Well, I'm just in a very small part of that background picture. And
no, you're on the front part too.
I didn't see that. I have to go back.
We have to talk to Liz about bringing him forward.
I'll plug Liz one day, I'm sure, when she's done plugging me.
We have Billy is in a really strange. He took Benadryl last night. I did not.
No, I was talking about how I don't do that stuff. Makes me dream crazy.
Our producer is Michael Clark, and I think today you're just really pushing it.
Am I? I was over here waiting for his countdown, and next thing I know, he's looking at me with the "I'm going to kill you" emoji. And I was like, what did I do?
Excited.
I even brought my own coffee today because I felt like I really irked him last week when I asked him to go get me some coffee.
Well, see, the coffee upstairs is only for VIPs.
I can't go upstairs. Yeah, that's the syndicate floor, I heard. So,
well, Billy, we're having a great time. We're having so much fun listening about the trains at the trains at NorthPark.
I just want to come play with them. Well, what time can I volunteer when there's no one in there and they just let me?
Any weekday afternoon.
Well, let's introduce Kathleen Mcgill, who is a Irish young lady, and I love her accent. Have you?
My goodness, everybody!
It's a real Texan accent. Have you?
I also sound like a 4-year-old.
I grew up in a small town. She sounds like everyone I've ever met. What are you talking about?
What town was that?
Palestine, Texas.
That's not a small town.
Compared to everything around here, it's definitely your town would be compared to Armont Alba, which is just north of Palestine. Blinking yellow light. Yeah, that's it. One gas station.
One gas station, and you were lucky to be born there. Is that what, or raised there?
That's only 6 miles from where I lived, that little town. So yeah, I know what town you're from. Yeah.
Well, we're so glad to have you here tonight and talking about the trains at NorthPark, the money you're raising for the Ronald McDonald Home. So let's go back to the trains because they are so beautiful.
I'm gonna have to buy one. I'm gonna buy one for my company, Structured Foundation, and I might get one for my family. Man, my little girl, Clark.
Do you know what I like is the idea of the family car where you can name each car after each child, and when they go to college, they have it's like a little, like a diary.
We have a lot of people who do that, actually. That's probably the most common thing.
So I see the paint and the whatever on these cars are just so wildly different. You can just tell people what you want to do.
Yes,
I have a daughter that just started SFA.
I can. Yes, you can.
I can get one painted in TCU purple.
I'm very glad you mentioned that because I have to brag on our artists a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
I have to brag on our artists a little bit. So I do hand lettering. I make signs, chalkboards, wedding signs, all that kind of stuff.
You do?
Yes, I do. And
Awesome.
I have tried to paint a rail car before.
So you're an artist?
I am.
Oh.
But
Awesome.
What a relief.
I paint the rail. I've tried. I tried yesterday. I can't do it. I don't know how they do it.
It's
They're
not a
so
canvas.
incredible. They're so incredible. They can make Spider-Man look like they printed it out and stuck him on like a sticker. I mean, I don't understand. They're incredible. So we find artists every year. A lot of them have been painting years and years and years in a row, but sometimes every now and then we get a few new ones. And basically you can request whatever you want. On the form, we suggest Christmas, winter, or Hanukkah as a theme. And then the artist gets kind of artistic freedom as to what that means. So if you say Christmas, one time you might get a Christmas tree, but the next time you might get Santa Claus or, whatever.
I want a Piney Woods looking one.
And you can do that because there's also a section that says other, and you can make it your own. And you can request whatever you want.
I want this one tree to come by, just thick pine trees on the sides of it.
You can do it.
Well,
they're incredible.
I want to order one that says Alexandra and Friends 660 the answer.
And lots of businesses do that because these rail cars are actually the rail cars that run in the exhibit.
And they have everybody's name on it.
I like it, like this Ryan LLC with the penguins on the roof.
Yeah.
It looks really cute. Yeah.
So the fun of it is that you buy the rail car early on, because we've been selling rail cars for a couple of months now. And then you get your ticket when the exhibit opens, and you get to come hunt in the exhibit for your family's rail car.
Oh my gosh.
At any given time, there's about 600 to 700 rail cars running in that exhibit at once.
Oh, that's
Wow. What is
You can hunt for yours. Lots of businesses use it as a little marketing tool because they can replicate your logo perfectly.
I can do that.
So cool.
And they actually run on the tracks. And if it's on display on the wall instead of on the tracks, the engineers, which are the guys that run the trains for us, they can switch it out and put it on the track for you. And they have every year we sell probably 500 or 600, and we mail them in middle of January to the purchaser. So you get to keep them. And so, like you were saying, it's kind of a diary of a child's life. We actually have a lady. Her name is Pat Edwards, and I can't wait to meet her because every year she gets the next line of the Christmas poem, the night before Christmas.
Oh my gosh. Isn't
what I'm
that
talking
cool?
about? She gets the next line and puts ... on it. So when her rail cars are all hooked together to make a train, it says the night before Christmas and all through the house, not a creature was stirring.
Gosh.
And
That
like
is
each different rail car
wonderful.
says a new line, which
And
I think
they
is
put them
so
all together
cute.
every year?
And I think it's such a cute idea.
That's cool.
That
It's
is
so
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we
Got
have a
the
lot of
12
really
Days of
creative
Christmas
people.
on another one. That'd be
Well,
cool.
you can have a Hanukkah
Yep.
song all the way
Yeah.
through.
Yes.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh. That is so
so
awesome.
I think we get some pretty creative requests.
Well, I want to order my train.
I think I'm going to order one too.
Yes.
I love it.
Oh, I love it.
Because we're just in time to enjoy the whole season.
Yes.
Right? And then you pull the car off, mail it home,
Right.
mail it to the owner.
Right.
And then what happens the next year? Can they bring it
So-
back or you
No,
have to
so
buy another one?
you can actually go to the exhibit and hunt for your train, like I was saying, and you can take it home, which saves us a little bit of shipping, and that's great. But you don't have to. You can let it stay there through the whole exhibit. And then the whole staff of the Ronald McDonald House goes up there in the middle of January, and we check them all in, and we box them all up, and we go to the post office. I have to give a plug to the post office in Addison because Rita and Matthew, they
They're
see me every
amazing.
year, and they've seen us do the cookbooks too because we sold a cookbook this year. So I go in that post office with 700 boxes, and we mail them to the purchasers.
Well, thank you for
And
keeping
then-
them employed.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That
And
is
then
awesome.
next year, we don't even have the storage to be able to keep the rail cars. So that's why we send them to the purchaser. They purchased them, and it's their personalized rail car. And then you buy the next one the next year, and they go on sale. I believe it starts August 1st, but I wouldn't quote me on that one.
How far ahead of, if I want to order one today, let's say, when would I get, would it be there
will-
for the Christmas holiday?
Yes. So generally speaking, we say that from the day you order it to the day it makes it to the exhibit is about 3 weeks. I will say this year specifically, I'm extremely backed up. So
Wow.
if you order it by October 5th, we guarantee it's in there on the day we open. But that doesn't mean that if you order it after October 5th, it's not going to go there. It will go there. And you can always email me. I manage that process. So everybody can email me and say, is my rail car there yet? Or that way you don't go up there only to find out that yours might not be done.
So you can only order from August
We sell through December 12th. I
to
believe
December
December
12th.
12th is the
Okay,
deadline.
every year.
Mhm.
And then you stop until the following year.
Right.
So can I bring my train every year to the mall?
No. So we won't have because we sell so many every year, we don't have the capacity to get ones back. So you would have to purchase a new one to have your rail car in it every year in the exhibit every year.
So how can I as a person just want to order something? Where would I go to order it? Can you give us the information on that?
www.thetrains@northpark.com, and you'll just click on the rail car tab at the top, and our order form is linked there. And there's different types of rail cars. You can pick your price point. You can pick an engine. The engines actually run. They are electronic. And they run on the electronic track. And then we have cabooses.
What's the price range
limited
on
edition? The standard rail car, which is 4 different types of rail cars, is $200, and then it goes up to $350 for an engine.
Yeah, and these are what you said, the O gauge.
They're O gauge trains. Yes, if you're
which is a pretty good size little model train.
Yeah, they're about probably
Mike, it's
a foot or less
1/48
long.
scale, but. Well, like this little dining car you have here is a little over a foot long.
We have a dining car. It's what we call our limited edition rail car. Every year we either pick a dining passenger. Let's see, what's the other one? Baggage. And it's what you would see in real life if you were riding a train.
Yeah.
And
that's a good size.
It's about a foot long.
If any of you are interested in buying multiple cars of these and eventually putting your own train set together at home with the collection you have, just know that this is a substantial size. It's not a small little toy train. So I like
cool.
it.
It is beautiful.
Got me interested in because I used to have a train set this gauge. You know?
So tell us now. You're setting it up for the grand opening, which is November 13th. Is that correct?
Yep.
So during this time,
birthday.
are these all employees, or you have volunteers to come and help you? Tell me how a volunteer helps.
We have a paid staff member there, our exhibit manager, and then we have our engineers who are running the trains. And the rest of the exhibit is run by volunteers. So this is a fantastic group opportunity for your Girl Scouts troop or your church group or your company to do a team bonding, your company.
Oh, no. We don't like bonding.
Yes, you want to bond.
We like fighting.
You can bring your team of however you got that team together and volunteer. There's four shifts Monday through Saturday and 2 shifts on Sundays.
And what are their duties when they volunteer?
They'll be selling tickets. They will be greeting at the door. They'll be making sure that anyone who walks in the door actually bought a ticket. Traffic control. But the coolest thing, our engineers who are our train enthusiasts that run the trains, they hide little figurines of Batman and Spider-Man and Harry Potter all within the train exhibit. Okay. And we have a scavenger hunt.
Oh, my God.
And so the volunteers can kind of help find the little kids. We'll teach them where each figurine is, and the volunteers can help the kids find it.
What an amazing.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. I noticed that I was just reading that the trains have raised more than $13 million for Ronald McDonald Home, allowing us to serve 40,000 families so far.
Yes.
That's a lot of comfortable people while they're dealing with
medical. That is such amazing because this is for children, and this is an amazing, just an amazing group. So we're going to take a little bit of a time off in a minute, and then you can come back and tell us a little bit more of how the people can volunteer, where they can go and sign up, and what your job is, and all the good stuff. And if we're invited to come and join you for a day and have fun. So this is Alexandra and Friends 660 The Answer. This show is brought to you by Roberto Perez, Miller Title. And this evening, we are here without Courtney. It's just Billy Tatum.
No, it's just me, but I'm looking at the website, and look at that little picture of me. Look, you don't even know it's me.
We have to talk to Liz about this.
Yeah.
Well, we have an amazing guest this evening, Kathleen Mcgill. She's a special events manager for Young Friends Liaison, Ronald McDonald, House of Dallas, and she's also the project director of the Trains.
She's the head honcho of the train exhibit at NorthPark.
Yeah.
I think you guys
like
are giving me a lot of credit.
Oh, well, it
sounds
just
cooler, right?
So much
Does it sound
fun.
cooler than it is?
Does it sound cool to tell people who are only 29 that I run a bunch of toy trains? I don't know.
I think so.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I mean, I'm 39 and I would still take that job. So
it is pretty unique, I'll have to say.
It is. Well, just to see the website and see these children is so excited looking through the windows. I mean, it's just wow. And this event has been going on since 1987.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And
what were you doing in 1987?
I'm pretty sure I wasn't a thought yet.
Oh, okay.
They might have been planning on it. I don't know.
Billy loves to ask funny questions. I also want to say that Bank of Texas has been the one that has sponsored all the way through this year. Wow.
Yes,
Thank you, Bank of Texas, for doing an amazing job.
All right. So we were going to ask her about volunteering.
Yes.
What's the prerequisite for volunteering? What's the age?
So you have to be 12 years or older. If you're 12 to 15, you'll need to be accompanied by a parent. But 15 or older, you can come on your own. So we actually have a lot of high school kids who get their hours that they're required for graduation with us.
Oh,
which we
wow.
love,
For volunteering?
Yep,
Okay.
we love that.
That is good.
Yep.
Please tell us about that because this is very important for young people. Michael, did you hear that?
Oh, well, there's that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Well, there's lots of schools who require volunteer hours. So we get a lot of those kids because, they're off that whole week of Thanksgiving usually. And then they're off the weeks between Christmas and the next semester in January. So we have 4 shifts a day from Monday through Saturday. And we have 2 shifts on Sundays. We're very similar to a retail store. We're open from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday and noon to 6 on Sundays. So there's definite need for sure. I think people are more cautious with COVID and everything. And so we are having some trouble filling those shifts. So if you are interested, please go to www.thetrains@northpark.com. Our volunteer services manager, Caitlin. So not to be confused with Kathleen because, we both work at the same place.
Shout out.
Caitlin Carter is our volunteer services manager, and she would thoroughly appreciate if you reached out to her with interest in volunteering.
So they can fill out an application on the website?
There's no application.
No?
You have to. Have to tell us. You do.
Yeah.
There's a link that goes to the calendar so you can see what shifts are open. That way you can plan it around your own schedule.
Oh, wow. That's pretty well done.
But she'll ask you a few questions about age range and all of that. But there's no application to volunteer at the trains. And we go through thousands of volunteers every year. So it takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of manpower to put this event on. Like I said, it's a third of our budget and it's 7 weeks long. So it's a big operation, and any help that we can get is so appreciated.
Well, I see that Ronald McDonald House also has volunteers for the Ronald McDonald Home, and I'm looking here at the calendar for the kitchen.
It's actually pretty well done volunteering to sign up for on their website. You create an account, you put in the information.
Glad to hear this.
Yes,
that's pretty well done.
Well, I'm showing the calendar has all events that has daily
easy
opportunities.
To volunteer.
Yes,
it's rewarding.
It is.
You feel better, you sleep better, and you want to do it again every time.
This is amazing, yes. And also, one of the things for volunteering for Ronald McDonald Home, I see that you also have a link here. They can volunteer in the kitchen, special events. When they volunteer for special events, that working with you?
Usually, yeah. It's either me or Caitlin. It depends on which event it is. But yeah, if they volunteer at the house, the kitchen. So I mentioned earlier that we have volunteer groups that come in and cook every meal, or normal times we do. And so those groups rotate, and so they may come once a month, so they might get it down eventually, but sometimes they only come once, so they don't know our kitchen. And it's a commercial kitchen that's health permitted and all of that, so we have someone down there that helps them out.
Okay,
that's the kitchen volunteer. And then our front desk, so important. The front desk is kind of a hub for our families who go to appointments all day long every day. And we try to have our front desk manned 24 hours a day because, similar to a hotel, stuff comes up and you need somewhere to go ask a question or you need laundry detergent or whatever. And they get all of that from the front desk. So our volunteers help us answer the phones, help us check families in, help us give families tours, do paperwork, answer the door. Our facility is gated and we try to make it super safe. And so having someone at the front door is one of those first lines of defense. Those are all our volunteers, and we cannot do it without them. So really interested in volunteering at all, anywhere, please contact us. We would love to have you.
As far as COVID-19 interference goes, the requirement there, I guess, is just at least a mask inside.
So we actually have to require that our volunteers be vaccinated. That is in regards to our...
important to know.
Yes, it is. Only for the house. You don't have to be vaccinated for the trains at NorthPark volunteering.
Okay.
But because you come in close contact with our families, who the patients are all immune system compromised, they're going in and out of the hospital, all those kinds of things, we do try to be extra safe at the Ronald McDonald House. And we do wear our masks around the families just to be sure we're not sending them off with anything they don't want.
I'm vaccinated. I'll go volunteer.
You should volunteer something. You don't do anything else.
Oh.
I think it sounds like you want to volunteer at the trains.
Get flogged weekly.
It sounds like you want to volunteer at the trains. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't mind.
Well,
put a smile on my face.
I see that people can also sponsor from. They do sponsorships, just like they can do with Alexandra and Friends.
Yes,
so if you don't want to get a vaccine, you want to help out still.
Yep,
they need money.
Yes,
and remember,
they do.
these are families that are showing up and they're having to spend a lot of time and money on hotels, and they just can't do it anymore. I think everybody's been in that position here or there where they didn't have the money to get a room. And I know I've seen this happen. The social worker at the hospital makes a referral. The next thing you know, you have this free hotel. But in your case, you have this entire home that's dedicated to facilitating this for the whole family. And
because it's about children.
I really did not know how Ronald McDonald House actually worked until now.
And so the money we raise, I mean, we're talking about stocking. We have 96 bathrooms. That's a lot of toilet paper, y'all.
Wow.
So
it's operational budget is what our fundraisers help us with.
It's all about.
And so we need all of that to get the sheets sanitized and clean the rooms between families and keep the lights on. And
volunteers
all
have
that
to do
stuff.
laundry?
No, they do not have to do laundry.
I'm not good at that
either. So one of the just to really bring this back to where we are. So these homes are for the children that are in the hospital for any reason. These are the families that get to stay there. When the children gets out, and let's say that they're going to be here for 2 or 3 weeks, can those children also stay at the house?
So it's actually a mix. We actually have patients all the time. It's not necessarily that they're staying in the hospital. It's if a family has traveled to Dallas for medical treatment at all. Mm-hmm. If you live 40 miles or further, I guess I should have said that before. You have to live 40 miles or further from our house to stay with us. Mm-hmm. And the way that we kind of think about that is that if you can drive 45 minutes back and forth, but after that, it's kind of a pain. So you need somewhere to stay. And so, yes, we have patients all the time. They just have to be in some kind of treatment plan with their doctor, which is one of the reasons that we get our referrals from the social worker. Okay. Because the doctor is well informed. They know that they're like the social worker knows the doctor has given them this plan. It's going to go X number of months or days or whatever. And so the social worker keeps in the conversation on the medical side of things and help us know how long they're going to need to stay with us.
They're professionals at making these recommendations.
Right.
They're trained for that. Okay.
And we have had families for 2 days, and we have 2 families that have been there for 1.5 years right now.
Goodness.
So,
wow.
You, if you're in a treatment plan, you can stay with us for pretty much as long as you need. We're going to be there to help you out.
We have McDonald's to thank for that. We have
do.
Other sponsors. That's
lots of
incredible.
sponsors.
And volunteers.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Because without the volunteers, it probably would have a very
It takes a village, y'all.
There's
for
still
sure.
a lot of good in the world. And
yes, there is. It's
example.
a very happy place.
Yeah.
It's a very happy place.
So let's go back to the mall, to the NorthPark. NorthPark contributes their location for you.
They do. NorthPark is so good to us. They donate the space for us each year so that we can be in that mall. And they help us out quite a bit in raising awareness about the trains.
Year in the mall?
This year, it's on the second level between Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom. Directly across the hall from Italy, which also I
love that place.
You go to.
Love,
it's very
cool. Love. I was there
I
Saturday.
just want to know so when I go there, I don't get sucked into the other store.
So you want to get sucked into Italy.
I know that.
You want to get sucked into Italy, and you want to get sucked into the trains at NorthPark.
Absolutely. It's an amazing Italian grocery store, restaurant, winery,
whole
name it
market.
all, the whole thing.
It's so good.
I was there
for that.
I was there Saturday.
So you can park outside of Italy and go in their outside doors and then go into the mall, across the hallway, and go straight to trains.
Okay, so now we need to bring someone in from Italy to talk on the show.
Yes, they're so fun.
Yes,
actually, at the hotel I used to work for, I worked with a guy named Robert, and he works at Italy, and he would be fantastic. You would love Robert.
We'll have to take a look at it real quick because we're coming to the end of our show here tonight. So please bring us update. Tell us. Can I go into the mall, into your store, and buy and order my train from there?
You can. Mm-hmm. Yep, you can. We have merchandise there too. So T-shirts, coloring books, tinier replicas of trains, all that stuff.
You have
and then you can
hats?
also we do.
Oh
and
my God! I can just see Billy coming next week with a hat on.
And you can order your rail card there as well. But just keep in mind that if you order your rail card during the exhibit, it takes 3 weeks to get to the exhibit. So, for example, we sell until December 12th. If you buy your rail car on December 12th, though, we close on January 2nd. So you're probably not going to see it on the tracks.
You got to order today.
But you will receive it eventually. So, yes, if you want to see it in the exhibit,
I want to see mine on the exhibit.
www.thetrainsatnorthpark.com.
Wow, I can't wait that. I can't wait to see my name running around the train.
The trains at
go.
NorthPark.com. Order your train now. It can be on the exhibit the entire time and get mailed to you. Or you can take your family up there, let them look at it, and pluck it right off the track and take it home.
Well, you can't Please don't take it off
personally.
the track.
Have the engineers do that.
The best part is all of the money goes to the Ronald McDonald House of Dallas. So
Kathleen, we're coming to our end of our show. Please, can you close our show this evening, telling us about how to get hold of the volunteers, all the good stuff about your organization?
Yes. So if you're interested in volunteering or getting involved with the house in general, our website is rmhdallas.org. But basically anything that has to do with the trains, volunteering, rail cars, sponsors, the exhibit hours, buying tickets, www.thetrains@northpark.com. It's your hub for everything.
Kathleen Mcgill, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And
I really
Billy?
appreciate it, guys.
Yes, ma'am.